Good evening, everyone. In the previous session of consumer behavior, I was explaining about various elements of perception, or we can also call it as stages of perception. So, like I said in the previous class, there are four stages of perception: perceptual selection, perceptual organization, perceptual interpretation, and perceptual retention. So I have already explained two stages in my last class, and in today's session I am going to explain the remaining two stages of perception. And then I am going to explain a new topic which is called improving consumer perception. Means what are the various ways through which manufacturers or companies can change or improve the perception of the consumers towards their products. Okay, so let's begin the session. So usually what happens after perceptual organization, which means that after we have organized all the stimuli in a proper sequence, in a proper manner, now it is the time to interpret those stimuli, because proper interpretation will actually help us to understand the actual meaning of the stimuli. Now this interpretation actually depends upon the past experience of the individual, the knowledge of the individual, what kind of explanation, how many type of explanation a person can create out of a stimuli, and their motives and interest. So basically interpretation is very unique because each and every individual has a different mindset, different thinking process, different level of knowledge. So combining all these things, it will help the individual to interpret the stimuli. So that's why a same stimuli accepted by various individuals may not have the same kind of interpretation, because each and every individual is different from one another. Their past experiences are different, their level of knowledge are different, and what are the experience they had, what kind of interest they have. Some people may be interested in products which look very different, look very unique, but some people are interested in the basic specifications and features of the product. Looks doesn't matter to them. So on the basis of their interest, they interpret the stimuli. Okay, so as human beings, first of all, we are very selective regarding the stimuli, which are the stimuli we are going to accept and what are the stimuli we are simply going to reject. So that also depends upon our interest, our needs, our motives, our requirement. And then we organize them in a proper manner with certain psychological principles. So that is the basic perceptual selection and perceptual organization. So after organizing all the stimuli, we interpret it, which is completely based on individual's thinking capability, mindset, point of view, interest, needs, requirements, motives, as well as previous experiences, and the explanation about the stimuli. Now, what is explanation here means? Usually, sometimes what happens, there are certain stimuli which are not very clear, which are very confusing in nature, and we are not able to understand the stimuli the way it is represented to us. So what we do, we interpret in our own way. We try to fit the stimuli in our list of interest, or based on our understanding, we try to fit the stimuli within our understanding. So that is called explanation. Means what kind of explanation we will make from a particular stimuli. So that is our individuality, that makes us unique, that makes us different from another person. So here it simply means that the way we interpret all the stimuli is actually based on each and every individual's experience, interest, and needs and motives. So a same stimuli can be interpreted in thousand ways if different people or different individual try to interpret the same stimuli. So that is called interpretation. There are various factors also which influence the perceptual interpretation. The first one is stereotype. And the second one is cultural backdrop. So first of all, what is stereotype? As human beings, our thinking is sometimes biased towards certain elements. We create assumption in advance and we stick to those assumptions, and whatever stimuli is in front of us, we try to match our thinking with the stimuli, with our assumption. Usually what happens in foreign countries, in UK or USA, they think that all the Indians are vegetarians. So that is a stereotype of thinking. The way they talk, the way we dress up, they have a proper mindset regarding that. So that is called stereotype. We cannot fit things based on our assumption, because it may be correct, it may not be correct. So it means that we are biased towards certain elements, and whenever we interpret certain stimuli, we bring that biased element into the interpretation. Like I said, when sometime, for example, you used a product belonging to a particular brand and you had a very bad experience of the product. So will you use it again? No. You will not use the same product again. But when the same brand comes up with a new product, brings a new product into the market, you will simply stick to the previous experience that you had. You will assume that, like the previous product, this product is also going to have a very bad, or we can say bad result. So that is the stereotyping. So since you have used a different product from the same brand and you had a bad experience, you're using that experience to judge a second product which you are not at all aware about it. So that is called stereotype. You bring the biased element of previous product into the new product. So that is called stereotype. Stereotype also has is influenced by four elements like physical appearance, descriptive terms, first impression, and halo effects. Physical appearance is sometimes very important, because usually what happens when we look into things and we see things which we are not able to understand, whether the packaging, whether the name, whether the color of the packaging, we may either, if you don't like, we reject it, or some people, when they like it, they accept it. So for example, take example of orange juice. Some people assume that if the color of the orange juice is darker, it means that it has more amount of sugar. That is called physical appearance. Based on the color of the orange juice, based on the appearance of the orange juice, they assume that it is going to contain more sugar. But there is still mentioned in the description section what is the actual amount of sugar and other elements into the product. But they will assume, they will relate the physical appearance with the quality of the product. So that is one type of stereotype also, because we make assumption, we are biased towards certain things and we make assumptions regarding it. Okay, the next point is descriptive terms. So stereotypes are also reflected in verbal messages also. Like take example, the description of a product. If you're going to describe a simple product in a very elaborate manner, people will assume that this is something different, this is something new, but the meaning will be same. You may have the same kind of product in the market with a very simple name. So it basically means, take example of a dish, a normal dish with a simple name, you won't take it very seriously. This is the dish which we have consumed a lot of time. There is nothing different in it. But the same dish with the same quality, with the same taste, but with a very elaborate and sophisticated name, you might think that this is something different. Even if when you try to consume it, when you consume it also, you will find some kind of difference simply based on the name. So the way the product is described, that also contains stereotyping. Like for example, there are many, it is one type of description that people try to assume that the products with elaborate or different kind of name, sophisticated name, have better quality, they are more expensive. That is one type of thinking. There is another type of thinking which means that the name should be short, the name should be simple, so that it will be present in the mind of the people who are using the product. So that is also one type of thinking. So there are two types of descriptive term. One type of descriptive term explains that the stereotyping means that elaborate, having some kind of elaborate and sophisticated name, the way it is described in a very elaborated name, that will the people will make a conclusion that this is a high end quality product, expensive product, good for health and all that. Another descriptive term which is very simple, which is very easy to remember, so that kind of descriptive term is also used by many companies. Okay, the next one is first impression. First impression is very important. That's why whenever a product is launched, it has to be complete, almost complete in all the manner. If they launch a product without any kind of testing, without any kind of review or something like that, and the first impression, they are unable to create a good first impression, then that product can never be sold properly in the market, because first impression really matters. And when a product fails to create a first impression, then people will not accept the same product later. So that is also one type of stereotyping. Once we reject a product, it is very difficult for us to accept the product later. See, rejection of product basically does not mean related to price or something. Maybe it promised to provide you something and they didn't live up to the promise. So that may be uh, a bad first impression. The company has said that our product is going to provide you this facility, but that product didn't have that facility. So those kind of bad first impression will definitely will definitely affect the selling of the products. The next one is called halo effect. So I will explain this point in a simple example. For a big brand, for take example of a very big brand which is called Tata. It is a huge brand. It has a very good reputation in India. It is a very trustworthy brand. So whatever product launched by Tata company, people will accept the product, people will wait for the product, people will trust the product because of the image of the brand. That is called halo effect. So a particular company can use the corporate image, the brand image of the entire organization, of the entire company, and they can use it to promote a new product of the same company. So that is called halo effect. Because we assume that this product belongs to this company, it is definitely going to be a good product. Because that company has a very good reputation in the market, that company never cheats their consumer, that company provides very good after sales service. So that kind of halo effect creates a positive impression of a new product in the minds of the consumers. So that is called halo effect. The next one is cultural backdrop. Cultural backdrop is also plays a very important role in the perceptual interpretation, because we every person belonging to different culture, they have different elements, their surroundings are different, their point of view is different. The same a particular product can be liked by many people in belonging to a particular product culture, but the same product may not be liked by other people belonging to different culture. So cultural backdrop has a major influence on how we interpret those stimuli that we have selected and organized. And many companies understand the cultural backdrop, make necessary modifications and changes so that it won't hurt anyone's sentiments, it won't disrespect the culture of a particular community or a particular country. So that's why many organizations try to modify, make necessary changes, or even they stop using some of the ingredients of the product just to match their cultural preference of a particular country or a region. So that has a cultural backdrop also has a major influence over perceptual interpretation. For example, fair and lovely. In India, people are more inclined toward fairer skin, or we can say people are even obsessed towards the fairer skin, fair complexion. So that was used by different companies promoting that their products are going to provide you a brighter skin, a fairer skin. But the same product may not be sold in other countries where fair skin is not at all important for them based on their culture. So that's why many organizations make necessary changes in their product to fit into the culture of different countries or different regions. Okay, this is the this is the third stage of uh, perception, that is called perceptual interpretation. The last stage of perceptual interpretation is perceptual retention. So, what is perceptual retention? When we remember a particular brand, remember a particular product, that is called perceptual retention. Now, perceptual retention actually leads to repeated purchase. Once we understand a product, once we remember the product, once we use the product, then we try to keep on using the product again and again. This will also lead to brand loyalty also. So that is called perceptual retention. The basic motive of a promotion of an advertisement, or the basic motive of a company, is to make their consumers, make the public remember their product in good way, so that at any point of time the people will prefer their company, their brand or their product. So and they will make a purchase of the product. So their sales will increase, they will become more and more popular. That is called perceptual retention. I will give another example. Micromax was once one of the largest feature phone manufacturing, smartphone manufacturing company of India. It was the 10th largest company in the world. So we remember the product since it's not in market since many years, but we still remember the product company because it has provided different types of products to the consumers. Many consumers were very happy with the product, with the range of the products provided by the company. Now when this company is again going to launch different types of smartphones at a reasonable price in the market, people have already remembered the company, people know the company, they have certain image of the company in their mind. That is called retention. So this will encourage the consumers to purchase the product belonging to that company again and again. So even if the company is not in market since many years, it is when it is going to launch a new product, people will go and purchase. That is the power of the brand, that is the power of the corporate image. So if consumers understand, consumers remember a particular brand, remember a particular product, then they will definitely purchase the product in future. Okay, the factors which influence the the factors which influence the perceptual retention are brand image, brand's store image, and corporate image. So a company having different types of brands. So some brands may be more successful than the other brands, and people maybe they are not even aware about the other brands of the same company. So that is called brand image. So, company brands having good image in the market will definitely attract more and more consumers, and they will the consumers will remember the brand for a very long time period if they have created a good image of the brand in the market. So that is the power of brand image. Next one is store image, means the basic outlet created by the company selling the products belonging to a particular brand. So if the store is huge, variety of products are available, after sales service are good, and this will create a good image of the store in the minds of the people, and they will keep on visiting the store again and again, because that store has all the facilities which will fulfill the needs and requirements of the consumers. And the next one is corporate image. Now, creating a good corporate image, a trustworthy company, it is very difficult because and very expensive also. Now, India, there are many companies which are very much respected. People trust those companies. They do not question those companies. Like Tata is one of the company, ITC is another company, and there are many more companies. Amul is a brand. Amul is a company which is used in almost all of the houses in one way or the other. Everybody knows about the brand Amul. It also says it is the taste of India. So that kind of corporate image, it is very difficult and even expensive for a company to create such kind of image. And when they achieve that target, when they create such kind of image, it is very easy for them to launch any kind of product, and there are chances that their products are going to stay in the minds of the consumer. So when we remember a particular image of a particular company, big company, then definitely it will be easy for us to recognize different products belonging to huge corporate houses with a good corporate image. So this is the way we try to retain the stimuli related to the products in our mind. Okay, so these are the 4 stages of perception. So the next topic which I am going to explain is improving consumer perception. So, how to improve consumer perception? What companies can actually do to change, not change, to improve the perception of the consumers towards their product or towards their brand. So look inward basically means that most of the company, they try to focus more on the process and every other thing, but instead of doing that, they need to more focus on the consumers, what they want, what are their preferences, what kind of changes they want. So these are the things which will actually help the company to create a product which will satisfy the needs and requirements of the consumer, and those consumer will purchase their product again and again. So in order to do that, they need to have a proper communication, good healthy communication with the consumer. Proper interaction should be there, so their advice, their feedback can be recorded and can be utilized in creation or modification of any product. So they need to focus on consumers, they need to focus on the perception of the consumers, and then they can try to modify or improve the perception. Next one, lead on positive language. So whenever they are trying to communicate something to the consumer, whether it is about the product or even getting feedback from the consumer, the language must be very positive. Instead of showing negative sides of the products belonging to competitors, they need to show the positive aspect of their own product, so that people will connect immediately with the positivity of the product, that this product is saves electricity, our product reduces global warming, it is not contributing to the global warming, we are doing this for prevention of the environment, or many other things. Our the product is going to provide features which is completely new, or which is not available anywhere else, or something like that. So positive language in creation of advertisement, promotion, and even receiving feedback from the consumer needs to be followed, so that the consumers can accept the product, consumers can give time and think about the product, and this will help to improve the perception and create a good image of the product in the minds of the consumers. Next one is consistency. Consistency basically means creation of a good image in the minds of the consumers. Now, like I said, creating a proper good corporate image is not an easy task. It is also expensive and also very difficult. So the company must have consistency, means the way they approach the consumers, they create a different set of standards for the products. So that consistency must be maintained in qualities, in quality of the product, in the execution and operation of the entire company, the way they show the company to the consumers. So that consistency must exist so that the consumers can actually trust a company. So if there is no consistency, consumers will not trust the company, and definitely their perception will be very negative towards such kind of companies. The next one is filling skill gaps. So skill gaps basically here means that when companies try to get any kind of feedback or response from the consumer, it must be done very carefully so that the consumers may not think that they are just a source of income from the company point of view. They need to be treated like human being. Their advice, their opinion needs to be followed, because ultimately they are going to use the product for their own benefit. So instead of providing them product just to make money is not the right approach. So not the right approach to change the or improve the consumer perception. So make them understand about the company, about the product, make them feel comfortable. They must understand that their opinion, their suggestions are being heard by the company, and they are working on it to make our life more easy and better. So that kind of skill gaps must be filled. They need to train their employees properly, train their marketers properly, so that they can understand this aspect of the consumers and then focus on improving the perception. So once they create a healthy relationship with the consumer, it will be easy for them to launch any kind of product and get the right kind of response from the consumer, or we can say proper acceptance from the consumer. Okay, so this is all about improving consumer perception. In the next session, I'm going to explain other aspects of perception and important aspects of perception. Okay, so that's it for today. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.